It's important for any member of the Air Force to feel empowered and know their purpose. The purpose gives them a reason to be here. It makes them want to be part of the mission and what we do. If it becomes just a job to them, then they're not really committed. They're not going to put 100% in. They're not going to give you what you need. That's one of the biggest things a leader can do, is always give their airmen their purpose.
I am Lieutenant Colonel Christian Layton, and I am the 102nd Civil Engineering Squadron Commander.
I am Senior Master Sgt. Melvin, the Senior Enlisted Leader of the 102nd Civil Engineering Squadron.
I like to instruct all of our airmen on how critical their role is to the mission. It's really important so that the airmen understand why we're doing what we do, and they need to understand the big picture. And a lot of times we kind of can lose sight of that. What I try to do every drill morning is give our own civil engineering, current intelligence world brief. So what we try to focus on is what's going on with our allies, what's going on with the emerging threats, our near-peer competitors, what is the State Department, what's our diplomacy, what are they looking at, and how does that relate to the military? And then we tie that back to what does that relate to the Air Force and civil engineering. And that goes all the way from the strategic all the way down to the tactical level. And that right there helps give our airmen a big understanding of why they come in for drill, why they do their training, and what they're being prepared to do when we deploy, and how they can make an impact in our overall national defense.
The airmen really get into that, and there's a lot of questions asked. It makes great communication back and forth, and that's how we start our drill off every drill, is to give them the reason why we're here. And that just starts the drill off in the right direction.
The threats on the horizon is really important for them to know, and also to know how important civil engineering is. It's absolutely critical, especially for an air base, especially in a deployed location. Often it's in an austere environment, and civil engineering really is the backbone of the mission. At an air base, the real nucleus is that airfield, and without that airfield, those aircraft are useless. So without our airmen doing our jobs and their jobs, the Air Force cannot meet its mission for air superiority and bring in air power to the fight. So it's absolutely critical that everyone understands how their tasks, their daily task, really results into mission success. And we really foster that environment.
I am Tech Sergeant Victor Kalinsky. I am the structures supervisor at the 102nd CE. You get a sense of belonging, and you get a second family out here. You get to work every day on simple projects that at first you're looking at of why are they so tedious, why am I doing this? And then when you really get a chance to deploy, go out TDY or do something else, you start to realize your little project that you did the other day plays a huge role somewhere down the line.
One of the ways that we like to empower our airmen is to give them all a voice.
I'm Master Sergeant Sean Kerrigan, and I'm the first sergeant at the Otis Air National Guard Base for civil engineering.
We like to use open communication with everyone. It makes our airmen really feel like they mean something to the unit, so they can come to me with any issues that they're having as the first sergeant, but they also go to our other senior enlisted leaders, and they go to their supervisors if they have problems. But it really makes everyone feel close, and it makes our airmen feel like that we're looking out for them. It makes them feel like they belong, and it makes them want to stay. Then, you know, it's more like a family here than a job. So when airmen show up on a drill weekend, they're happy to show up. It brings something else to the table other than just the work that we do.
One of the things that we found very successful is to empowering our airmen, giving them a voice. I have met with the airmen. What I do is I have them come up with the 3 things that they like the best about the squadron and 3 things that they would like to see fixed or changed. That right there really gives me a roadmap on things that I should take a look at. And when I do address some of those changes, it really is a direct impact from the airmen, and they can see, hey man, that commander just listened to me and made a change based on the airmen's recommendations. We also push an environment where a lot of the answers come from the lower levels. They're the experts at their craft, and we rely on them to do their jobs. And we listen to them, and we make those changes based on some of their recommendations.
A lot of times when we talk about empowering airmen, we think about just the airmen, but it actually encompasses everyone in the Air Force. We also need to think about our NCOs, our senior NCOs. So when I sit down and do an ACA, I don't just sit there and take the ACA form real quick and go through that. It takes me probably at least an hour and a half I sit down with them, I talk about the National Defense Strategy, how it pertains into the Air Force strategy. I pull out the Enlisted Force Development Blueprint, and it walks you right through from day one all the way up to becoming a chief and how that all works. And I try to tie that into each individual's career. I sit down with them, I talk about their career, where they want to go, what they want to do. I talk about courses that they should be taking, and I actually take the time to get to know them. I even get to the point where I look at all their points and help them through and make sure they have all that stuff accounted for. I really take the time to show them that I care about where their career is going and how that's working, but I try to teach them and show them a lot of stuff along the way so they can then empower their airmen so they know where they're going and what they need to do, and that really empowers them to keep their career moving in the right direction.
We've also seen senior airmen, staff sergeants, where we've brought them up from the beginnings of their careers. They're going out, they're getting their electrical degree, they're becoming plumbers on the outside. They're bettering their outside lives, and I think a lot of their confidence comes from their military careers, from being in civil engineering.
The big things at CE that we do, we try to, any training that we have to have the airmen lead the training as much as we possibly can. That way they're getting the experience of going out, learning, finding the information, and they're going to get up front and brief it. It makes them feel empowered because they're the ones that are now responsible for training, and it's not just always the same people up front talking. So being in CE, there's obviously always work that needs to be done around the base. We try to get the members out working, and when we have jobs to do, our younger airmen are usually leading those. While we're here doing all the administrative stuff, running the squadron, the younger senior airmen, staff sergeants, they're the ones out running the projects. And they like that. They like to be the ones in charge. They have to come back and give us briefings, tell us where they're at, tell us what they need, and they have full power to run that project how they see fit. And that makes such a big difference. It makes them feel like they're really part of the squadron. They're making things happen, and they see their results of what they're doing.
A good example is last year we deployed to Montana, where we worked on a large project at the Blackfoot Indian Reservation. And there we were tasked to work on a 7,000 square foot senior living facility. We actually put a staff sergeant in charge of the overall project. We knew they had the skills, and we let him take that and run with it, organize, and get after it.
Not only empowers the airmen who get to take on the responsibility of the project, it also shows the other airmen, maybe a senior airman or another staff sergeant, that they will also have that opportunity in future projects, and that they're in an environment that wants them to succeed and wants to give them that opportunity.
That also builds trust, and trust is very important. It shows that the leadership has a lot of trust in the junior airmen to tackle these projects, and that we have full faith and trust in their abilities and how to manage. When they're out there, they own that project. They're very proud to work on the project, so they're really working hard.
Does more than just gives them their purpose or empowers them. It makes it so they have trust in themselves and they feel like they can go get things accomplished. They don't always have to look to leadership to tell them what to do. They take the next steps. They move forward in projects. They get things done on their own. It helps to improve the quality of what they do. It helps to get projects done faster. We've seen a lot of strides in just how much work we can get done on a drill weekend, and that's a huge impact to the daily operations of the whole wing. It helps every asset of what CE does.
I am Staff Sergeant Trenton D. Terra with the Heavy Equipment Shop for the 102nd Civil Engineering Squadron. My leadership, they set us up for success by setting us up with the right material, tools, and things we need. If any issues occur, they jump to it. We adapt very well, and it's because of them at the top. Our leadership does trust us to get the job done, and it's important for them to let us work out here on our own. So if we mess up, we learn how to fix our mistakes, or we learn what goes wrong for the next time so we can perform the job flawlessly.
Most projects we do, there are no real challenges that we can't tackle and handle ourselves inside the unit by putting our brains together or talking amongst each other with the different shops. We all work as one big family, so even if it's something that one particular shop can't handle on their own, we can always call in our friends and family members from the other shops to come help us out.
In any situation, you want somebody that's going to have you back, and that's always going to be there. I'm Technical Sergeant Jose Barada. I'm the Morale Committee Coordinator from the 102nd CE. We arrange activities and events for everyone in our squadron to try to build something that we can have fun and bond with. The Morale Committee is important to our squadron because we haven't had it in a long time, and we see people coming and going, and we want to have people feel more at home with just the simple fact of being a wingman. Senior Master Sgt. Calvin Melvin is the one that said, hey, I want us to get closer. What can we do? And then he said, we got to establish a morale committee. And that's how that started. You know, I got to give it up to our colonel and Senior Melvin, because our colonel is the one that started this in Montana. He wanted this bonding time. He wanted us to be closer. And I'm seeing that now. So I really appreciate this squadron. I don't see myself ever leaving because of how much we've united within the past year.
We're doing a hike. We are going to hike as a squadron Mount Monadnock, and we are also tying in some training goals. We're going to be working on our convoy operations. We're going to do TCCC on the mountain and then do some land navigation. But what's really important about that hike is that we get out and we all do it together, so that when we all get to the summit and we can take some great squadron photos with our guide on, something that all the airmen can look down and look around and just be proud of their accomplishment, you know, the physical accomplishment of climbing that mountain and getting down. And I really think that'll be one of those moments that you look back and it's just building that squadron camaraderie, that unit cohesion, which is so critical. It really is for a squadron, so that you can lean on each other for support during a 6-month deployment, lean on doing the jobs and just getting through the day-to-day. It's really critical for squadrons to have that within the unit.
My name is Staff Sergeant Sean Keane. I'm with the 102nd Civil Engineering Structure Shop. As far as getting ready to go down range, that's always as a squadron, because we have the same tasks. So it's important that we do our TCCC training together, we do weapons training together, and that requires the whole squadron to come together. I don't know if every squadron really is that cohesive. I think a lot of shops do work apart from each other. They will come together at times, but I think you'll see as you're observing CE, we sit together like glue.
Over the last couple of years as commander, I couldn't be more proud of the squadron. They've really accomplished quite a bit in the couple of years that I've been here, and I'm really proud of each and every one of them.
From the top of Mount Monadnock, where the 102nd Civil Engineering Squadron sees the summit. Engineers, lead the way!